Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Defend Philly. We have another fun episode for you today. It's been a minute, but a lot has happened. So let's get right into it.
Straight
So,
away.
straight away, we're 31 games into the season, Lewis?
Right about. Yeah, I think it
Right
was
about, yeah,
31. Yep.
31. So, we're about a third of the way through the season, and there's a lot to take away. So, this team so far has been impressive. What else would you say about it?
Yeah, I mean, exceeding my expectations, exceeding, the expectations that I had set for the team. I didn't think, we would even really be in a playoff position by this point, but here we are. And to be honest with you, it I've liked the way they've looked, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, this team is exceeding my expectations that I had set for them in the beginning of the season. I think that's probably the same for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the same for me. My opinion about this, though, which we'll get into a little more, though, but this team is exceeding expectations. Everyone's excited. There's a lot of good around this team right now. I mean, they're doing well. Zegras has been outstanding. He's on pace for a career best. They're in the top wild card spot as of today. So there's a lot of positives, but I think we need to be very careful with this. I think we can enjoy the positives. It's great to have a good hockey team, but at the same time, our expectations heading into this season were an above 500 team. We just wanted them to have a winning record. And so while it's been so fun to watch, I don't know if it's sustainable necessarily, but I need to see it for a little bit longer before I'm fully convinced that this is how their style of play is going to be. So for now, where I'm at is I think that we need to prepare for some more bad hockey in the future. I think that this team might regress before they progress and end up in the Stanley Cup Finals because right now they're not a team that I could see making a deep playoff run. I think that they could make the playoffs. I think they could make the first round, maybe first round exit, but I don't see a world in which this team wins the Stanley Cup. And so that brings on how many more years of this are we going to take? Are we just going to keep watching this same team going at it? And at what point are they going to regress? What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, do I think they're going to win a Stanley Cup this year? No. To your point earlier, I was just hoping for a 500 season. That was, I thought, the best that we could ask for, especially when in the offseason, Danny and Jonesy talked about, okay, we are at rock bottom here. We added a couple more pieces. We added a guy like Zegers. We added a guy like Vladar. And those were going to be our big acquisitions now. And and Christian Dvorak for that matter. Um, Now, I think all three of them have outkicked their coverage. I don't think anybody expected Zegras to be coming in here and having a career best. Maybe some did, but I didn't expect him to have a career. I mean, he's on fire. So I think that the Flyers are a potential to make the playoffs. Like we said, as of recording this, they are currently in the first wild card spot. Um, but I think that instead of waiting around for stuff to happen, I think Danny and Jonesy need to be aggressive. I think they need to start making some trades. I think they need to start, really being shrewd businessmen and understanding that, look, the Flyers are not good enough to be a cup contender right now. Do they make the playoffs? Maybe. But they're not good enough to go and contend for a cup. But they are not bad enough to get top draft picks. Like, we are not going to lose enough games this year to be in the bottom five teams and have a really great, possibility at getting the number one pick. It's just not going to happen. So the Flyers need to take this rebuild and do it a little differently. This is not your average rebuild. Your average rebuild is tank, 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 get a couple first round, first overall picks or top five picks and build that way, get like 3, 4 high quality prospects, add a couple veterans and go from there. This Flyers team is going to have to do a lot more adding of current NHL players. Like, it's just not going to happen through the draft. We knew that. And, you know, have they been stellar in the draft recently? not stellar. I mean, Porter Martone, Matvey Michkov was Danny Briere's draft pick. Porter Martone was Danny Briere's draft pick. But then you got guys like Jack Nesbitt, who a lot of people think was kind of a dud at, like, what did we get him, 12 overall last year?
Yeah.
So I think the Flyers need to start thinking about trading some of these big contracts to get some pieces back, and and then we can put a contending team together. Do I think it's going to happen next year? No. But do I think we need to start working now? Yeah, they need to start being aggressive on the trade market and on the free agent market.
Yeah, I think we agree on certain things, but I kind of disagree with that. I think you keep this majority of this team together, you ride it out, you see what happens, and then you move on from there, even if it is a collapse. Because I think if we start making big trade pieces, I don't think this team is going to be the team that wins a Stanley Cup. We talked about this earlier. They win a Stanley Cup, you and I are both having heart attacks. We'll be
Yeah.
we'll be done, right?
Yeah.
But I think that this team, the positives that they've shown so far, I mean, Zegras offensively, their ability to play in their shootout ability, even their defense. Like there's been glimpses of really good things. Then again, we've seen periods of time like last night and the night before where you go to overtime twice and lose both times.
Shootout, yeah, go to
shootout twice. The first game is like you can't even maintain the lead. Like you have the lead, you keep giving it up, you keep giving it up. Eventually, that's not a style of play that's going to be consistent. But I think that I want to see where this season plays out. And I think that's part of the rebuild is keeping this group together. I wouldn't go after any big trade, big trade acquisitions. I would keep the current team and I want to see what happens. And then next year, tinker with it, move some adjustments, see what you can do, because this is like a learning year. Because then again, we're not expecting anything. This team was not supposed to be where they are now. This team was supposed to be down in the rankings in the 20s. And right now we're 17th, 16th. I think we're up there in the rankings.
In the whole NHL?
In the whole NHL
11th.
right now, we're 11th. See, like that's even insane. So I think that they need to take a little bit of time, see how this season plays out, and then make moves from there. But I don't think we're ready for that big piece. And I also don't think that we need to expect this play to be sustainable. If it was, great. If it's not going to be. I think that our expectations have been increased by the amount of excitement around the team and how well they've been playing. But if they're going to win a Stanley Cup in the next decade, if they're going to be genuine contenders, we're going to have to watch some more bad hockey before we get there.
I think you're probably right. I mean, look, even one trade I don't think is going to fix this. I think the Flyers need at least one or two total studs. Like the Flyers don't have any killers right now. They have no killers. And I would love to say that Matvey Michkov is the killer. He's not. He hasn't shown up yet this season. He really hasn't played to his potential. And look, I know it's in there. We see glimpses of it. His board work's been great. He even for coming into this season out of shape, and we know it. He even said it post game. He said, "I came in out of shape. That's on me." He actually talked about the fact that this offseason, and even during the Olympic break this season, he is staying in Philadelphia. He is going to be training.
Voorhees, New Jersey.
The skate zone.
He'll be at the skate zone. Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think it's called the Flyers Training Center now, I guess. It's not even called the skate zone anymore. I know, that throws me back.
I learned how to skate there.
I'll forever call it the skate
Come
zone.
on.
I played there, I reffed there. That's what we're calling it, is the skate
Totally.
zone.
No. They don't have that killer.
They don't have the killer. But that's what I mean. I think that's where we need to start making trades. We've been in situations where, like the Carolina game, the past two Carolina games, there were a couple opportunities that if they just had someone who could tilt the ice in their favor. Now look, am I saying that the Flyers need to go out and trade for Connor McDavid? No, because that's going to cost a ton of money. Now he doesn't really necessarily want to stay in Edmonton, and he signed what, he signed like a 3-year deal or something, for Edmonton with Edmonton, a 3-year extension.
We've learned that people can get out of contracts.
That's true. Yeah, and we've learned that the Flyers have some money coming off the books in the next couple of years, and they're really gonna be able to kind of have a lot more flexibility. So I think that's why the time is now, because the books are going to be a lot lighter in the next couple years. The time is now for the Flyers to find a killer. It's a good point though. They are still learning. It's Rick Tocchet's brand new system, this and that. But I think, why wouldn't you go find your killer and have them added very early into Rick Tocchet's system? I think it could be really beneficial if you go get your guy. If you go get a number one defense, like let's just say Quinn Hughes was never traded to Minnesota. If they go out and get, now I would love that to be the case. But imagine Quinn Hughes doesn't go to Minnesota. Imagine he comes to Philadelphia. I honestly think the Flyers have, if they were able to match the package that the Wild gave up, they certainly weren't going to. But imagine they did. Imagine Quinn Hughes comes here. I think they could have convinced him to stay here. So now you're building around a killer. Quinn Hughes can tilt the ice in his favor. He scored a goal in his first game in Minnesota.
No.
And it was
he's having a filthy season. It's
right. He's having a great season right now. It's probably not, it's not a career season, but he's having a good season.
He's having a good season.
He's top 3 defenseman in the NHL. If you can go out and get a guy like that early in Rick Tocchet's tenure, I think that's helpful.
Yeah, he was leading the Canucks in scoring as a defenseman, but overall, I know I definitely agree with that, and I hear what you're saying. I think that you also have to be very careful with this team. We have a young team where we have like an even workload right now. I feel like most of the players are handling their own, like no one person is standing out. We don't have a star, right? Which is what you're talking about. We don't have our killer. But I think we have to be very careful. And I also think that we cannot talk about quarter of the way through the season without bringing up the biggest defeat the team has faced this season, which is losing Foerster. That has really, that was brutal. That was a hard one for them.
Yeah, and he was your leading scorer up until he got injured. Was on pace to have a great season. I mean, he was. I was always kind of frustrated with Tyson Foerster. I was actually truthfully, I was out on Tyson Foerster. Maybe I wasn't watching him as closely as I should have been the past couple seasons. But I mean, he came on really strong this season. And you're right. I mean, losing a guy like that, it's not good for a team that's trying to make a push at a playoff spot right now.
No, and we've talked about this, and I also think it's important to note that Tyson Foerster may not have thrived under Tortorella, but he can thrive under Rick Tocchet. And I think a lot of these players we're finding out can thrive under a different style of play and of coaching even, and just having more freedom, which I think is a little known around the league when Torts is your coach, that you might have some challenges. But it's interesting to see how certain players like that, who maybe didn't have the best seasons in years past, we have to give them kind of a fresh new slate here with Tocchet, because it's totally different. I mean, this style of coaching is allowing them to be free. It's allowing them to try things, but also keeping them under a strict, this is what we're doing kind of thing. And they respect that, right? It's not a strict, this is what we're doing, no one else can keep up, or not keep up, but this is what we're doing, you have to follow the strict orders. But it's they kind of know as a team what they're doing and what their identity is, and they're forming it, and I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. And I think Tocchet has done a good enough. People are complaining about Michkov's ice time, and people are he's mismanaging this team. It's his first season. We're 31 games into his tenure. Michkov has not earned it. Michkov has not earned the ice time quite yet. I really don't think he has. He just hasn't. He hasn't. And everyone wants to throw the advanced stats out there. Oh yeah, well, his defensive game's actually top in the league and blah blah. Eye test, guys. How about watch a hockey game? Yeah. He has not looked good. He's looked honestly, in some situations, he's looked like a liability. So has he come a long way? Yeah, certainly. But has he earned, the ability to play 15, 20 minutes a night? No. Can he even do that? I don't think so. I don't think he's in shape enough to play 21 minutes a night. No. I just don't think he is. So
he's getting there.
Right.
He's getting better.
There. He is.
But it's you can't wait to start your season once the season starts.
Right. Exactly. And Tocchet has talked about the fact that he's starting to earn his ice time. He talked about it post game, I think a couple games ago. He's starting to earn that ice time. And That's great. And he's going to be a major piece. And I think he's a major piece of the future. When I'm talking about making trades, I'm not talking about trading Matt Michkov. A lot of people, when the Quinn Hughes rumors were coming around, I'm talking about the Flyers don't have any killers. I have faith that Matt Michkov can be that killer. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think that's a guy we should be trading. I don't think we should be trading.
I don't think he's ever going to be your Quinn Hughes, but he could be. You think he could be your Quinn Hughes?
You don't. Well, he's not a defenseman, but you don't think he's.
But like that's what I mean. Your Quinn Hughes, your Connor McDavid, your Sidney Crosby, your Alex Ovechkin. Like
not Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid's generational.
But I mean, like the one player on your team that everyone knows.
He has the potential. Yeah, I mean, he already is probably the most known player on the Flyers outside of like your tenured guys like Couturier and Konecny and
talk about liabilities.
Well, geez, and honestly, I think. I don't think it's out of the question. Now, I don't know how crazy this is. I was talking about it on the radio with Rob Ellis and Mike Sealski. Do you trade Travis Konecny? Is it time? He's got. Let me check how many years he's got left on his deal.
I think no, because I don't think you're gonna get
any return
much for it. I think that I think what he adds to this team is something he might not add to another team, if that makes sense. Like his value to us is probably higher than others.
He's got like 5 to 7, he's got between 5 and 7 years left on his deal. I think it looks like 7 because he signed the extension. Oh, he just signed. Yeah, wow. Yeah. I don't realize he just signed that extension
this summer.
He just signed that extension. Okay. 8 years, $70 million.
Yeah, you're likely not getting rid of him.
It's over $8.5 million a year. It's $8.75. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we would get any. You talk about return. The Minnesota Wild basically, if that Quinn Hughes trade. If Quinn Hughes decides not to stay in Minnesota, they sold their soul. Marco Rossi was going to be a top, a great player. He's already a great player, but he's only going to get better. Zeev Buium, he's a rookie this year. This was his first year in the league, and they drafted him and traded him right away. He has the very high end potential, and Liam Ogren, not quite on the same level as Marco Rossi and Zeev Buium. But like those are 3 NHL ready players that have been, contributing to a Wild team who's been playing really well right now. So if that trade goes wrong, that's a problem for Minnesota, and they could have wrecked the future. You know what I mean? If Quinn Hughes doesn't decide to stay at the end of if he doesn't decide to stay at the end of the season and a half that's left on his contract, I think they really screwed themselves. But the Canucks got a good return for that one player.
Yeah.
And to your point, I don't know what the Flyers would get for Travis Konecny. He's underperforming. Now, is he,
he's making way more than he should be.
He's making a ton of money. And if you look at his statistics, he's just under a point. As of the other day, he was like 0.86 points per game. Which is, if someone would look at that and be like, oh man, Travis Konecny's not having a bad season. But then you're not watching
the turnovers. You're not watching all of it. That one turnover will haunt me forever. That'll haunt me almost the same.
It'll haunt you. It'll haunt him.
It'll haunt me almost the same as that one Ryan Kirkring play.
Oh, jeez.
Like those two, like you could put those pictures next to each other, and it gives the same energy, but without ruining the whole season.
I was gonna say it wasn't quite. But
the mistake of it. It was like you sat there and you were like. Oh, and they tried to recover.
The mistake of it, and then how about the fact that he just stopped trying to recover halfway through defending Jack Eichel, who was the one who picked up the puck? He just gave up. Like Travis Konecny,
for more references, he played some AJ Brown defense there.
Yeah, he really did. He gave up halfway through the route. He stopped trying to defend that. So, when we talk about making a trade. Now, do I think there is a value for Travis Konecny? Sure, a veteran guy who's been in the league. He's been the Flyers' top scorer for the past 4 or 5 seasons. Like, do I think there is a team that would probably, want Travis Konecny? Sure. I mean, in terms of points right now on the team, He's second in points. He's got 27 points in 31 games. So again, like if you look at that, like, oh man, Konechny's not having a bad season. He's not having a great season, especially for his standards. In the past few years, Travis Konecny has had like 77 point season, a 77 point season, 67 point season. And then last year wasn't his best season, 53 and 82. But like he shows that he can score. He's definitely on the Flyers, he's probably your first, second liner, but on any other contending team, he's probably second,
no,
maybe third liner.
Yeah.
Is there value for like a more depth guy like that? Yeah, I don't think he's at this point, at least the way he's playing, he's not a killer. He's not going to command the ice. But is that a contract that the Flyers could consider trading? Maybe.
But is that a contract anyone else will pick up? No one's paying him Do you say he's making 8.5 a year?
8.75.
That's insane. So to wrap up our show today, Lewis, final takeaway from the Flyers, final feelings a third of the way through the season, 31 games. They're standing at 11th in the league. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I think Danny and Jonesy have showed that they can be shrewd businessmen. We didn't talk a whole lot about Dan Vladar this episode, but Dan Vladar, Trevor Zegras, Christian Dvorak, all three of those signings, acquisitions are great. And actually, those three guys are probably some of the best Flyers right now. Three brand new guys Dan Vladar is probably the best Flyer outside of Zegras at this moment in time. Yeah. So I think Danny and Jonesy have shown their mettle. I think they've shown that they have the mindset to do what we're talking about. They're not going to get it done through the draft. We know that. But I think they have shown that they can make informed, good business decisions in order to get guys in the building that can impact the Flyers right away and can be leaders. I mean, a guy like Christian Dvorak's been around for a while. The guys like Christian Dvorak, they seem to gravitate around him. I've been in the locker room. He's not the most outgoing guy in the world. He's fairly quiet when we talk to him. But, he's playing really well. He's your steady second line center. Yeah. He's like 58% in the dot or something. He's like top 25 in the league as a center.
They did well with these trades.
They really
did well in the offseason. They did what they were doing with the signings.
They did just very well.
With the moves they've made so far is positive. Where I'm at right now is I'm saying, like, I want to see where this team goes. I will do a halfway through the season check-in, and if they're on the same pace, I think I'll start to believe it, and I think my opinion will definitely change. But right now, I'm excited. They're exceeding my expectations, but I don't have any expectations going forward. I think that this could be, I don't know how this season's going to end up. I think it could go one way or another. It could be a great season. It could be stand out. And then we could have a lot of bad seasons after it, or it could be a season where they start to build and we just didn't know how high they were and we set our expectations too low. But going forward, I don't really have any expectations. And I think that that is going to be the key, is not expecting anything from this team, because coming into the season, we didn't. And they've been great so far, but there's no guarantee that they'll continue. And there's no guarantee that we won't start having games just like the Carolina series back to back and seeing struggles. But I'm excited about what I'm seeing. I think Dan Vladar is great. And I've loved to see kind of a spark lit under this team for the first time in a while. Spark lit under this city where people are finally excited about this.
Yeah, people are excited about the Flyers. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You hear buzz. I mean, I'm talking to people just even in my personal life. Oh, how about those Flyers? People that weren't necessarily Flyers are starting to get interested in the Flyers again. You can even hear it on the radio. There's a little bit of a buzz. I mean, Flyers Twitter's Flyers Twitter. I'm not even going to go off that, but I'm not going to. But there's definitely a buzz, and I think the Flyers just need to. They talked about, hey, we're going up from here. This was already rock bottom in the offseason. They started adding pieces. I think they just need to continue adding right now. We didn't even really get into the free agent market for the next couple seasons. Yeah, probably, because that's a whole other thing. And but I really do think that the Flyers need to make maybe not a push for the cup, but they need to add at least one or two more guys to try and get them over the hump here.
Yeah. Well, that does it for another episode of Defend Philly. Thank you as always. I'm Bonnie Hanamirian, and with Louis Coco, this has been a great episode. A reminder that you can follow us on Twitter at the Defend Philly Pod, Instagram, and also we have a new website where we post blogs, different game recaps, game previews, and all of our audio is now on Spotify and Apple Music.
Yes. Are we on? I don't think. Are we on Apple Music?
After this episode, we are.